Cass, thank you. Body camera footage captured a tragic scene in North Las Vegas. For the first time, we're seeing the moment police responded to a suspected DUI crash that left 2 toddlers dead. Police say that their aunt was behind the wheel and their mother was in the passenger seat at the time. More video captures the moments that they learned they were being charged while in their hospital beds. Fox 5's Drew Andre has more on the 911 calls, plus that video and the suspect's first appearance in court.
The aunt of the toddlers is now out of the hospital and their mother still remains there with broken legs. Both of the women could be facing years in prison.
911, do you need police, fire, or medical?
Medical.
How many people are hurt?
Oh my gosh, 2.
Some of the moments are too disturbing to repeat from the frantic 911 calls that came in when neighbors and passerbys came across the scene.
Sir, get them out of the vehicle. We're going to help them until help gets there, but I need you to listen to us, okay? We need to help them. Get in on the other side and lay the seat back as far as you can lay it back, and I'm going to tell you how to do CPR.
Police arrived first, and the officer came across Kalia Manning, dazed in the driver's seat, and the children's mom, Rainisha Washington, unconscious in the passenger seat. Officers attempted to talk to the driver, but her speech is slurred. According to the arrest report, the children's mom told police she saw Manning and a friend split an entire bottle of tequila before the crash. The driver's blood alcohol concentration was more than twice the legal limit.
You are being placed under arrest, okay? Your charges are going to be 3 counts of DUI resulting in death or substantially bodily harm.
A few days later, officers read the 2 women their charges in the hospital.
You're under arrest for felony child abuse and neglect resulting in death for your 2 kids.
Serious?
When an officer questioned the mother in the hospital, she asked him, quote, "Are we in trouble?" an arrest report says. Sitting in a wheelchair, the driver made her first court appearance Tuesday morning. Deadly DUI convictions in Nevada lead to 2 to 20-year prison sentences per count, and similar sentencing laws for child endangerment resulting in death, which is the charge the mother is facing. The same attorney will represent both women in court.
Of course, the family's bereaving. They still have to bury these 2 children.
There's a memorial here at the crash site for the 2- and 3-year-old. Family members and strangers gathered over the weekend for a vigil. Reporting in North Las Vegas, I'm Drew Andre, Fox 5 News, local Las Vegas.
Our thanks to Drew for that. Meantime, the mom and aunt's next court hearing is January 4th. That is when they'll appear before a judge for a preliminary hearing. That's where evidence from the case will be presented to the courts.